The NFL has a reputation for legislating against fun, but it did the opposite this offseason by loosening its rules for celebrations. Individual celebrations have become increasingly complex over time, from simple spiking of the football in decades past to the elaborately choreographed displays of the current era. But there are still plenty of antics that players won't be able to do after the big plays. Celebrations deemed sexual or violent in nature are still illegal. Let's see the banned touchdown celebrations in the NFL. At number 6, Hingle McCringleberry. The 2013 excessive celebration sketch has become a favorite of NFL players, many of whom have imitated it following touchdowns. The sketch, which pokes fun at the league's rules on celebrating, centered on rookie Hingle McCringleberry infamously doing 3 pumps after scoring, which resulted in a flag. The low-key dance confused Troy Aikman in the Fox broadcast booth, but for fans of Key and Peele, the move was immediately recognizable. The former Comedy Central sketch show that launched the careers of Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key frequently made football a subject of their jokes. Rogers' dance was an ode to Hingle McCringleberry, a fake football player who pushed the bounds of excessive celebration rules. Unfortunately for Aaron Rodgers, his McCringleberry pump was premature. Officials ruled Rodgers down short of the goal line on replay. No touchdown. For Rodgers, it wasn't his first foray into Key and Peele canon. The duo made a joke of his name in its first season with a character pronouncing both A's in his first name, as in Aaron. Number 5. Brandon Cooks Bow and Arrow. Brandon Cook's trademark celebration is something he's used for quite some time. The NFL has been cracking down on celebrations, and there are some strict rules set, but apparently that's not going to stop the New Orleans Saints wide receiver from engaging in a little fun. He said in an interview that he will continue his trademark touchdown celebration, despite the league fining Washington quarterback Josh Norman $10,000 for a similar gesture. I'm going to figure it out, but I'm not going to change it, Cook said. The league will have to deal with it. The reason for why I'm doing it and what's behind why I'm doing it doesn't have anything to do with violence. Cooks said the gesture was originally inspired by the show Arrow and the movie Hunger Games. But then when he came across a passage in the Bible about a boy named Ishmael who used his archery skills to survive in the desert without water, the celebration took on an even bigger meaning to him. Though mimicking a violent act is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, Cooks has never been penalized for using the bow and arrow. In fact, it's become a part of his brand. It comes from Psalm 144:6, "Send forth lightning and scatter the enemy. Shoot your arrows and rout them," Cooks said. "It's just one of those things that my faith is the biggest part of my life, and I feel like the reason why I am here, where I am today, with the gifts that I have. So it's just another way to be able to glorify God rather than just pointing to the sky after a touchdown. Just bringing a unique way. So my hope is when fans see me, they see God in me. That's the biggest part of it all." At number 4, Andrew Hawkins. When Browns wide receiver Andrew Hawkins scored a touchdown against the Patriots in 2016, he celebrated in the most boring way possible, and he did it specifically to troll the NFL. Hawkins gently placed the ball on the ground and stiffly walked away like a robot because he didn't want to risk being fined by the NFL for being happy about scoring a touchdown. In an interview, he said, "Everything you do gets fined nowadays, right? Me seeing the tape of what not to do, and I get it, rules are rules, but I thought it would be funny to do that and troll the whole situation, so that's what I did." He then spoke for everyone who has ever sent a tweet before when he said this, "I was glad everyone on the internet interpreted it the right way because I wasn't sure if they were going to get the joke." Well, here's a guy who sees the system, registers its flaws, and then works within it to point them out. At number 3, Davante Adams' goalpost dunk. One of the NFL's most popular touchdown celebrations involves players dunking the ball over the goalpost. But since 2014, that has been banned. Even if the league's reason for banning goalpost dunking is practical, it comes across as yet another needless power move meant to restrict on-field creativity. There's a fine line between being excited and showing up an opponent, but the dunk celebration didn't cross that line. Fans actually pay good money to see some of the world's top athletes compete, and while that isn't being impacted, most fans also don't want their favorite players to act like robots. And back in 2017, Packers wide receiver Davante Adams scored a touchdown to give Green Bay a 17-14 lead over the Detroit Lions in the third quarter of Sunday Night Football. It was an important score in a game that will decide the winner of the NFC North, and Adams was obviously pleased. And of course, Adams celebrated by dunking on the goalpost. But that wasn't the typical dunk though. It was a 360 dunk, and it was awesome, and the ref in the end zone threw a flag immediately. Actually, many fans weren't satisfied with that flag, and those who were complaining about it received a tweet. Perhaps the NFL will make the right call and stop penalizing players for enjoying themselves and being happy about their own success. At number 2, Chad Johnson. For most of his career, Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson was the living, breathing, football-catching antibody to the NFL. In 2005, Chad was fined $5,000 for a celebration he did after catching a 54-yard touchdown pass against the Ravens. The action, the league apprised Johnson, violated its policy against prolonged, excessive, and premeditated displays. A league spokesman declined to say whether the fine, a pittance for Johnson, given his $1 million base salary for 2005, was the first this year against him. The colorful wide receiver has displayed a variety of celebrations after scoring, including a recent one in which he feigned proposing marriage to a Bengals cheerleader. Despite several admonitions from the league and even Cincinnati coach Marvin Lewis, the clever Johnson continues to plan a different celebration every week. Johnson has been fined on multiple occasions in past seasons by NFL officials. In 2003, it is believed he accumulated about $60,000 in fines, levied because of violations of the NFL uniform guidelines and excessive end-zone antics. In December 2003, after having been fined several times already, Johnson displayed a placard that read, "Dear NFL, please don't fine me anymore," after a touchdown catch. He had hidden the sign in a snowdrift behind the end zone at Paul Brown Stadium. Previously that season, Johnson was fined for the so-called throat slash gesture, which is banned by the NFL, and for posing with teammate Peter Warrick for a fake photograph after a touchdown. "Nothing I did was ever in a malicious manner," Johnson said. "It was all about entertaining folks, and it got to the point where the people I was playing that week wanted to know what I was doing week in and week out. That's how you knew it was never malicious. It was all in fun." And number 1, Antonio Brown. In 2015, Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown was excited, to say the least, after returning a punt 71 yards for a touchdown in the fourth quarter of a 45-10 victory over the Indianapolis Colts. But his celebration has apparently gotten him in trouble with the league. The league fined the star receiver $24,309 for what officials penalized as a choreographed celebration on Thanksgiving night with teammate Le'Veon Bell. The third time this season, Brown had lost part of his paycheck for a TD dance. Bell was fined $12,154 for taking part in the handshake dance, which lasted several seconds before they left the end zone during a win over the Colts. Brown's fine was larger because he's a repeat offender. The NFL previously had fined Brown $9,115 for twerking in the end zone during the season opener. He also was fined $6,000 for wearing unapproved shoes in that game and another $24,000 for a pelvic thrusting celebration. In another season, Brown was fined more than $11,000 for jumping onto the goalpost after a score. Well, he keeps having reasons to celebrate, but he is still being fined each time he does that. NFL rules. After some changes have been made in the rules, the excessive celebration is still illegal, so choreographed musical numbers that delay the game won't be allowed. However, it will now be okay for players to join up with teammates and celebrate together. Celebrations from the ground were always fair game if you scored on the ground and stayed there. Previously, a player could be penalized for going to the ground after the score, but that rule is going the way of the dodo, and celebrating with teammates is now not that big crime anymore. Do you like the NFL celebration rules? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video from us. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video, and thanks for watching.